are going to start in the next 1 minute. That is by exactly 8:10 East African time. Thank you so much for joining us. And today's session is really interesting. Yep.
And once again, hi everyone, good evening. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're amazing today. Let me see some reaction in the chats if you're feeling good and excited for today's session. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So I want to welcome you everyone. It's great to see you again for another exciting session of Starknet Basecamp 2. Feel welcome and get comfortable, take some notebook, anything that you need, and just prepare for today's session because it's going to be very, very amazing. Very, very amazing. My name is John Muthoni, and I will be your host for tonight. A special welcome to everyone joining us for the first time. Yay! Welcome. If you missed day one session, no worries, we got you. I'll request Anne Marie to drop a link in the charts where you can register your team and the project that you're going to build. If you don't have a team, it's okay. We'll help you match with a team. Remember, it's always more fun and motivating to build together than building alone. That's amazing. So, before I go on, I want to invite IJ to come and tell us the KPIs for this Devcamp base Starknet Devcamp base 2. IJ, you're welcome. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, Joanne. Hi, everybody. My name is IJ. I'm Hadao Stewart. So for this DevCamp, so the last time we had a DevCamp in February, we were doing introduction to Cairo, and we did that for a whole month, the beginning of February, and we took our participants into introduction to Starknet, how to write smart contracts in Cairo, how to do open source contributions. They also did Stack links, and yeah, most of the we had like a graduation rate of 51 participants, which was so great. Thank you so much for everyone who participated. For DevCamp 2, we are doing things a little bit different. We want to take your projects from the GitHub to the market. So this is your launchpad. So if you have a product or you built a project on Starknet and it's still stuck in your GitHub, this is how you get it to the market. So we are going to give you skills, the toolings on how to like launch your product and how to think beyond just building a to-do app and building products that are going to be used in the market. So that is what you're doing. So tonight I would love to welcome Richard. Richard is from Scaffold Stark and he has been doing developer tooling for a very long time. I know some of you have interacted with Scaffold before, and I know some of you hate frontend, so Scaffold is your way to go. And yeah, welcome everyone to this interesting session. Richard, you're welcome.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep. Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, so let me just share my screen so I can get started. Yeah, so good evening, everyone. And it's a good evening for me as well. It's 12 a.m. here. So, my name is Richard. I'm one of the core maintainers of Scaffold Stark. Basically, I run the whole development of Scaffold Stark from like the releases. If you guys ever contributed to this project, you probably see me reviewing the code. And yeah, so I've been like doing Scaffold Stark since like last year, so it's been quite a while. And yeah, and we've seen a lot of changes, and also we are also cooking plenty of new features for you guys to use, so to make the development even easier. So yeah, so today's session is going to be how to build Starknet dApps fast with Scaffold Stark, because the whole point of Scaffold Stark is to allow you to ship stuff faster, to get stuff running faster, and just to make stuff more easy to you guys, so that you can get started developing in Starknet really fast. All right. So yeah. So basically, what do you need for a dApp, right? So you definitely need the smart contracts, the Kero smart contracts, and something that's important, but a lot of people I think kind of brush over it is the client, just your front end. It could be the mobile phone, it could be the web, and etc. But Scaffold in particular is more like a front end for the web, so we are going to mostly focus on that. So we have in Starknet, the clients, we have a bunch of languages that you can incorporate your client to. So in the left here, you see Starknet Rust. In the middle, you see Starknet Python. And in the right, you'll see the most commonly used one, which is Starknet.js. So yeah, since like JS is the most commonly used, and also I think most people here would be more interested in writing web applications with Starknet. So I think this session will be mostly focused on the Starknet JS side uh, as well. You'll be seeing a lot of them in this session. And so the front of Starknet in JavaScript, it has a bunch of layers there. So in the base layer, like the very primitive layer, you have the Starknet.js. Then in the middle that wraps on top of Starknet.js is Starknet React. Right. So Starknet React is made specific for the React framework, and it runs on top of Starknet.js. Then you have Scaffold Stark, which is like a one-stop tooling that uses both Starknet.js and Starknet React under the hood to operate. So let's start from Starknet.js. So we covered Starknet.js just now. So next I will cover Starknet React. So Starknet.js is basically like a low-level Starknet JavaScript client library. So it just handles the basic stuff, your wallet connection, your contract interactions in the lowest form, and signing transactions, helping you parse variables, etc. So it's a very low level thing. It's not a particular tied to any front end framework. So you can use it with Svelte, you can use it with Vue, you can use it with React, you can use it with whatever is JS. Even vanilla JS works with this. Yeah, so if you would like to see more, you can go to the docs later on. And secondly, we have standard React, which is the React wrapper around it. So they'll provide you some basic hooks that you can use to write your React applications. So for example, here, if you want to read from a smart contract, you can use read contract. Then if you want to write some to a smart contract, then you do use send transaction. Then if you want to do some wallet operation, like for example, connecting a wallet, disconnecting a wallet, or like just getting your address, getting your profile picture, then you use account. And there are many more hooks, but I won't cover it all. So there's basically like the TLDR of what Starknet React is. And hence, like the top layer that I mentioned just now is Scaffold Stark. So basically, Scaffold Stark is a full stack framework. So it covers your smart contract. You can write your backend, your web to backend, and you can write your front end, like your React application. Right. So the whole problem statement around here is that mostly people are blocked by development, like configuring and doing all the nitty gritty stuff, setting up environment, setting up your setup, etc. And so definitely you have to build fast in some cases. So that's why we're here. So we're trying to allow everyone to build faster in Starknet without worrying about a lot of configurations, a lot of like boilerplates and stuff. So it's brought up by Build Guild, people who have contributed to Build Guild before, and also the Starknet open source community. And also, if you've seen Scaffold ETH before, like for Ethereum, then it's very similar. You'll find this very, very similar, since it's very heavily inspired by Scaffold ETH. Right, so the stack of Scaffold Stark is basically using this bunch of components. So we use Starknet.js for the low-level JS operations, Starknet React as the React hooks wrapper, Kero for the smart contract language tooling, Next.js for the front-end framework, Starknet Foundry to help you guys write tests and also perform these contract development tooling in general. And yeah, so that's like the whole stack of Starknet React. So if you are using Ethereum or Scaffold ETH before then, the stack is very much similar. So Ethereum, Starknet. So the Veeam Starknet.js is kind of like Veeam. Starknet React is kind of like WalkMe, and Scaffold ETH is kind of like Scaffold Stark. So they're very similar. And yeah, Scaffold Stark aims to be low friction as well, so that people can easily go into Scaffold Stark. So why should you build a Scaffold Stark in the first place? So there's cases where you might need to do something really fast. So for example, if I join the hackathon, you have to join hackathon, you have to come up with something in 1 week, in 3 weeks, in 24 hours even, and this is the right tool for you. And also, if you need to do MVPs, you need to show those investors your demo, your product demo. You need to go some event and show people some demo. Then this will be the right fit for that as well. And so you also have improved developer experience. So one thing about Scaffold Stark is we aim to make contract development very easy. So typically, if you don't use Scaffold Stark, you have to use command line interface to talk to your contracts. You have to write commands. You have to write a lot of arguments like this, a lot of like parameters and stuff. So this will be like a very troublesome, right? For some in some cases, and also it's prone to like mistypings, and you like spend like half a day to find what the error is, but in fact you just miss like one character. So we have a debug UI that updates as you update your smart contract, so you can just click to test your contract without having to do a very long command line experience like this. And also we provide you with some hooks on top of standard React. The advantage of these is that our hooks are more type safe, and they immediately work with, like, when you deploy the contract, the typings of these hooks they get updated as well. So what that means is that these hooks will prevent you from making type mistakes, and also they'll provide you with autocomplete even if you don't use AI editors like Cursor. So if you just use VS Code, you still benefit from the autocomplete from these hooks. Yeah, and but we don't have hooks for like for wall operations, since you can just use the standard React one for that. And one hook that is not present in standard React, but that we have is using the event history hook. So this basically will allow you to trace smart contract history, like events that are emitted by smart contracts. Yeah, so last but not least, just today we have released a new feature. So what happens is that you can do something called extensions, right? So typically when you set up your Scaffold Stark app, one way is to clone our repo, and another way is to just run npx create Stark. That will help you bootstrap and Scaffold Stark project from scratch. But now you can use something called extensions, which will allow you to have pre-integrated features. So for example, oh, I know that I need an ERC20. So, oh, I know I need an indexer. Oh, I know I need an NFT, right, in my project. So all you have to do is just type npx create Stark latest extension. You can type ERC20. You can type the indexer name. Then it will come pre-included in your project, so you don't have to really just figure out how to set up your those stuff anymore. As come pre-integrated, you can just go straight into building a feature. So we are aiming to really like speed run your development process. Yeah. So without further ado, so let's dive in to the Scaffold Start. Okay. So for today, the code is we're going to build like some play around with some of the features of Scaffold Start, and also we're going to try to modify contracts, see how the debug UI actually works, and how we can deploy them to Sepolia and mainnet. Yeah, so first, I think I would like to send some code to you guys, the class code, so you can also follow along. Since like there will be like some front end work, so I think it's better if we have this code has some CSS, like HTML CSS done for you guys, so you don't have to really spend time typing up those styling anymore. I will send it in the description uh, in the chat here, and I think I will also send the documentation to Scaffold Start. Give me a moment. Scaffoldstart.com. Right, so you can also check out this page. Like this page has like documentation. It has like the extensions that I was talking about. So like if you guys need to set up some environments, you can go straight to documentation. There's a quick start section there you can refer to if you don't have the environment set up already. So we basically need three things. We need Scarb. Okay, so I'll just jump straight to the code. Here is the code. So when you clone a Scaffold Stark repo or set up to that command, you get this particular setup. So before you do this, make sure you have three things set up on your local machine. You can do that either through the dev containers, which are Docker containers, or you can do it through the you can do it manually, like set up one by one. So you need a few things. So first, you will need Scarb, which is like I believe you guys would have this mostly because you guys have done some Cairo in the past, as well as Starknet Foundry, which is also what's something you have done in the past. And last but not least, is Starknet DevNet, which is your local chain setup. Yeah, so instructions of installing all these can be found in documentation. Let me just go through that real quick. So if you go here, if you go to scaffoldstark.com/docs, then you have the section here called installation. So make sure you have these prerequisites and make sure you have these versions up as well. And also it's quite important for you guys to have the exact same version as the one specified here, because you tend to run some issues if they are different, right? So they might find some unexpected bugs or errors that you guys might not know. So you can just follow this guide to install the project. I'll send the link in the chat so you can take a look. And yeah, so without further ado, let's have a tour on the Scaffold Stark. Right. So first things first, what you have to do is you have to run when you developing a Scaffold Stark. You want to run this command first, called yarn chain, which basically will run the local blockchain on your computer. Yeah. So this is not Sepolia. This is not mainnet. This is just your local blockchain. So yarn chain will give you a set of accounts, and you can start developing smart contracts. Right. So this repository comes with a smart contract uh, setup pre-included. So we give you a smart contract here, which is called your contract, and we also have the whole deployment script here, the setup which you can use to deploy this to write your deployment scripts. Like for example, if contract is called like um, Basecamp token, right? So you can just deploy Basecamp token, what are the constructors, and etc. Right? So we are trying to make it very easy for you guys to do so. Yeah. So let's try to deploy this built-in contract first. So let's see if I deploy. That's the wrong command. Apologize. So it's called yarn deploy actually. So yarn deploy, what it will do is it will deploy. It will run your deployment script. So whatever you write here, it will get run. So make sure after you write your smart contracts, you write your deploys. Don't forget to write the deploy script here. So let me just zoom out for you have a better view of that. Okay, so there's some error here, missing dependency. You can easily just install dependency using yarn install or just yarn. Yes, okay. Yeah, so here you can try yarn deploy again. It should work. So give it a second. Usually, like the first time, it will take some time, but you will kind of get like faster as time goes. Like after you try to build over and over again. Yeah. So while like that's deploying, I can give you a bit of a tour on the code itself. So Starknet Foundry is like the contract side of things, and Next.js is like the front end side of things. Right. So in here is just all React. You can write backend here. If you use the API route here, you can write some web to backend. And this is where you write the smart contracts. So we have this is like a full stack thing, right? And with extensions, you might see some other stuff included there. Yeah, but for the default Scaffold Stark, you only see these two. Right. So as we're talking, those are done, right? So those are done, and we can try to run our front end, which is this code right here. So we can easily do that by using yarn start. So that's like localhost. Let's open that in our browser. So if you successfully set up everything, your dependencies are correct, and you also have set up all the commands and all the dependencies, then you should get this page, right? So let me just disconnect this first. So this is the page that you're going to see. Right, so you have like some features here that you can use. For example, faucet. If you want to load your custom address, give your customer address some money, then you can use the faucet. If you want to bring over external contracts, you can use configure contracts. So, for example, if you want to bring like some contract that somebody has deployed somewhere, and which is not yours, but you need to use it in your application, then you can do so. Right. So we will cover this in this session if we have time to do so. But I want to show you is this the debug contracts page. So this is what I was talking about, like the debug contracts UI, which will allow you to test out your contracts without having to really go into this command line and using SNCast and firing off command lines, because those can get very cumbersome and prone to mistake. Right. So here, this particular contract has no read methods, but you see the write methods here. You see some methods here, right? So set greeting, withdraw transfer ownership, renounce ownership. Right. So if you see here in the smart contracts, here you see that the functions correspond here. Right. So these are very intuitive, and also typically when you deploy in the DevNet, they will come up with a section with a pre-deployed Stark contract, which is the native token. So let's try to do some contract interactions with this debug UI. So let's say I'm testing some development, right? So I want to test out whether this set greeting works, and also I want to change the greeting, right? So let's connect our wallet. So we'll give you some burner wallet you can use to test out your contracts in DevNet, right? So this will come with like a lot of Stark inside, so you can easily just test out. So for example, I'm gonna test like hello Basecamp. So let's set it to none, send, and yeah, you can see that it works. Right, so you can see that this is how you would test out your contracts. It's very easy, very intuitive, and yeah, so that's like what's the 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 function of the debug UI, right? So you can even do stuff on Sepolia and mainnet. So you don't really have to really have to be focused on the DevNet, right? So for example, if you want to try out your contracts on Sepolia, right? So you can either just do yarn deploy networks Sepolia, right? So let's try to deploy the contracts on Sepolia. So what this will deploy your smart contracts to Sepolia. Right? So while that wait, so that's deployment of Sepolia. So while wait, are there any questions so far on this before I go any further? Okay, I think we're good so far. Also, please do let me know if you guys like think I'm going a bit too fast, or like there's like some connection issues. I can repeat those concepts again for you. Yeah. So you can see there's an error here. It's because I haven't set my private key yet. So I can try to set it up off screen. So yeah, because make sure you keep your private keys private, and make sure they're not visible to anybody. Yeah. So let me do it off screen. Right. So give me a moment. Okay. Okay, so here I might be doing some magic off screen, but actually I was just doing this doing sharing putting a private key on my project, so that you can deploy we can deploy on Sepolia. Right, so let me just bring that out here. Okay, I've loaded my private keys inside this environment variable, so I think if we try again, it should work. So you can also do mainnet, Sepolia, DevNet, as long as you provide the private keys, you make sure there's enough funds in there, then you can deploy as well. So whatever you did in the previous classes, then you can also do it here, right? So you just have to focus on writing the Cairo or the nitty gritty, the deployment and stuff. I will handle it for you. Right, so as you can see, the deployment is currently running. Right, since this is like a remote network, it usually takes slightly longer. So as you can see here, we have successfully deployed on Sepolia. Then if you go to this Stark scan link, then you can see that our contract is live over there. Our contract is live. And if you see, so basically our contract is currently live here. Deploy contract. So this is not currently not verified yet. Oh, this is the deployment transaction. My bad. Yeah. So here is like the actual contracts. So if the contract here, as you can see, if you see the functions is the same as our contract, your contract, right? So you can see here you can easily deploy to Sepolia, deploy to mainnet. Okay, so that's like a brief introduction on uh, on the scaffold itself. So next step, let's try to do some fun things with this. So I wanted to start with doing stuff with the hooks, right? So let's try doing trying the hooks. So in this particular repo, I have prepared like some styling, but I think when you guys, because what I want to focus on is the hook itself and not exactly the styling or of the front end, but later on, yeah, when you guys develop an application, you have to also consider the user experience and all that, because that is one very important component to developing your applications. Okay, right. So now we are going to try to do some stuff with that contract that we had. So what we will do is we'll go to Next.js, we go to app, and we go to page here. This is where we'll be trying to modify the stuff. Right. So let's start to implement the actual interaction. If you just run yarn start here, yeah. So if you run yarn start here, okay, so you need to do some reinstallation. So if you guys just see like dependencies errors, usually you just have to yarn install, and usually it will fix things. Right, so let's do yarn start again. Okay, now you should see that it's working. Right, so here it's like we have prepared like some pre-made styling here, but just like you see, there's no functionality, it's all blank. And so let's try to do some functionality in here. So first up, let's try to implement current reading and the premium status. Right, let's try to print those values here. So if you go to the debug contracts, you can see that you should expect that it should print out hello Basecamp and premium false, right? So let's try to implement that. So in here, what you can do is you can is you can use this hook called scaffold read contract. Use scaffold read contract. Okay, so here's like what you can do. So if you see here, you can see that it has autocomplete, even though if you turn off your cursor autocomplete. Let me see how do I do that. Okay, never mind. Let's not do that. Disable cursor tab. Yeah. So in here, if you see here, without the cursor autocomplete, then it will still give you the choice because we made it very type safe. So in this case, our contract is your contract, and the function name is greeting. So this should return a data. It's called greeting. Let's call it greeting. Then let's call this greet. So let's have is pending, which is loading. And since we have a redundant variable, let's just comment this out. And so let's go to the slot where this is implemented. So it should be in the current greeting slot. So here, let's just find that current greeting. So here, the code should be this. So this just means that this just means that we are taking this value that we read from the contract and setting it up here, right? So let's try to see if that works. Let's refresh. We haven't saved this yet. As you can see here, our greeting is there, hello Basecamp, right? So it's the same as we expected. So let's just fill in this previous status real quick. So it should be the same. So data pending scaffold read contract is the same. So if you notice here, we don't even have to pass in the contract address, right? So you don't have to really remember because when you deploy, we will record those ABIs for you and we will put it in the front end for you. So you don't really have to even copy your own ABI. It's just there, right? So for example, if you write contract name here, your contract here. So if you put in function name which is premium, as you can see, even the function name is also auto-completing. So in here, you can see you have the choice function name. So you can just premium, then you put in the information there. So if you just deactivate this, so it means like if premium is true, it's active, then premium is false, inactive, right? So this is like the front end. So you can see that since the premium here is false, so in here it is false as well. So we can confirm that all of these is actually working, right? So this loading state is basically what happens if like the hook is still trying to fetch your data, right? So sometimes your internet connection might be a bit slower, or maybe the server is quite far, or you're doing some things in mainland Sapolia, which normally doesn't take very fast like DevNet. So that's when you have to use this loading states. So this is what makes like a difference between like just a good UX and like great UX. Is if you have proper loading states, make sure you use the proper styles, then this will be a very helpful variable for you to use. Okay, so let's try to do some other fun things. So for the next step, so what we can do is let's try to write some functionality here. So what you can do is you can do the set reading function, like the one that we did, that I demoed to you just now in the beginning. So let's try to write that function. right? So let's try to write that function. So the particular style, set greeting and deposit is here. So we can start to write some functionalities here, right? So to write functions, you will use a different hook, right? So it's called it's called, it's called use scaffold write contract. So this would do the same thing as the one that the read contract does, which is to give you autocomplete. So this will be set greeting, right? So here this is error because we need arguments as well. If you remember that in here, set greeting takes two things, right? So it takes a new greeting, which is a string, and the amount of Stark that you're gonna give it to. And note that this amount is not really like a number, but it's like an option, which is the data type that is present in Cairo. Right, so I'm going to demo to you how to write that data type as well. Yeah, so in there, so the first data type, if you remember, so it will be the greeting, right? So let's write hello Kenya, hello Kenya. Then like the second one, we will have to put some option. So the option, the way you do it is a bit different. So you have to instantiate a class called hero option, which comes with Starknet.js. So here, hero option, let's import that. It's already imported, nice. Then like we also will put a hero option variant. None for now, let's do none because that's simpler to handle. Just put zero here for now. So yeah, we just written our basic write contract here. So if you're wondering what n here it means, n basically means a big N, right? So this you normally will contain integers that wouldn't fit into a single integer variable. So in here you can type send async. It will return a function called send async, which will be your helper to send these values there. So it would just if we just put it in the button, for example, and greeting handler set greeting here. Okay, so in this template we already have like a handler that will handle. So it's just here and send greeting. So in here, what will happen is that we can just we'll just put here send async, right? So what this do is that it will send your input into the blockchain and also write a transaction for you, right? So let's try to see if that works first. Actually works. If you refresh, hello Kenya, looks good. But we want it to actually work here, right? You don't want it to just be like a hard coded thing. So let's do that. So let's try to modify this a bit. So let's try to rename this into current greeting. And also let's uncomment this since this is like a helper variable that will update when you write stuff here, right? So let's do that. And then we will modify this a bit. So this one, let's replace with greeting. So we'll actually put in what is put in there. Then the tricky part will be to how to handle this amount of start, right? So far we just hardcoded the no value, but we might need to put some value there, some money there, right? So for example, so we already have some helper here. So if you see here, there's a boolean here. It's not option. So it's not option, which is triggered by the radio button, which is defined where it is right here. It's defined right here. So let's just focus on writing the implementation of that. So to do that, we're going to see this, right? So if it's none, then we do handle as none. And if it is if we do have some values, then we will give it that value, right? So I think for the current case, we can just do it the current way because if you can see, our greeting is set that way. But if you have some values inside, then the input amount will be taken into account. So what you can do is you can do send async. And you can actually override arguments in here, right? So argument is still going to be greeting since we still need that value. And now the difference is that you can do new arrow option sum. Then in here we put the input amount. Okay, so we have two options. We can either send some money or we can send no money. So let's test out those things. Right, so let's try no amount. So let's try hello Starknet in here. A second, we're trying to refresh. Yeah. Okay, so there's a bit of a typo here. Let me just fix that real quick. Okay, so here. So let's enter some greeting. Hello Starknet. No amount. Let's try to set it. Successful. Updated. And now let's try to sum amount. Right, so let's try like 1 star. But note that we have to multiply it by 10 to the power of 18 because Fry, the smallest unit of Stark, is like is encoded in that value because we need because the blockchain cannot really represent decimals, so we kind of just represent it as like very small, very small integers. So if you don't know how to input it manually like this, our debug contract has a feature where, for example, if you need to input that kind of value, just type this, and it will be loaded, right? So it's just copy this, and you just put here, hello premium, right? Let's try this. You see, it failed, right? So if you see the terminal here, failed. So the reason that it actually fails is actually expected error. Is because we haven't approved the usage of our start in here. So normally, if you write in some blockchain, when you want to have a smart contract spend money for you, then you might need you need to approve the contract to allow it to spend your money for you, right? So we have to do that, right? So you have to do that, and so normally when you do that, what happens is that you have to send a transaction for the approval, you have to send a transaction for the actual operation 2 times, which is bad UX, right? So for example, I click approve, then I click send. Every time I have to swap, for example, I need to swap in Uniswap, approve, send. I think it's not a very pleasant UX to do it. In Starknet, you can do in Starknet in particular in Scaffold Stark, you can do simultaneous. So you can do this approval, you can do this write operation in one transaction. by using our hook, right? So we have a special hook which will allow us to do that. So let's replace this hook, right? So this is only a single call. So let's comment this out. So in here is the same output, send async. Use scaffold multi-write contract. So the contract name remains the same. Multi-write contract. So in here, the arguments should be different. So you have to have something called calls, which is an array of what you want to do, the multiple operation that you want to do. Like for example, you will just function name. This will be your stock token since you want to do some approval. Uh, no, that's a wrong one. So this actually contract name, start, function name should be approved. Then the arguments would be your contract of your contract, that address that this was deployed to, and how much money that you are allowing it to spend. Right? So to do that, what you can do to get information about some smart contracts, you can use a hook called use deployed contract info. So this you just have to pass in the name. So your contract, this should give you all the data you need. The data will be the address. Then this will be just the input amount. Cool. Right. So this is like the one call that we need to do. The other call is just basically this call right here. Right. So just copy it over. It should be good. Right. So I think what we can do here, if none, we don't have to approve. But if it's not, if it's some amount, then you have to approve. Right. So we can actually just alias this function. So that reading with funds approval right here. And you can write here set 1 second on let's just write here with payment. Here just write send reading. No payment. So this would be the two functions. So basically, if it's no non-option, we'll call this. If it's with payment, then we call this. Right. So this will be just copy the function names over here. No payment. Do this with payment. Right here. Right. So with payment, and we forgot to set one thing, which is here the value that we need. Right. So to do that, you can change the option variant from none into some. Some means there's a value, none means there's no value. It's like basically like if your value in JavaScript has undefined and like there's a value, right? So, and this will be the input amount. Okay, so here we'll be doing like a multi-call. You don't have to do multiple transactions, just one, and you'll be all set. So in here, if you write some amount, example, I want to send again one start. Let's just make it 12 start because it's so that we have visible change here in our balance. So some balance some amount, then hello premium. Let's try that again. There's a small error there. What's going on? Let's check if we have some typos. I'll try this. Input amount. Amounts in big in, that's correct. Input amount, greeting, care option, some input amount, that should be correct, that should be correct. Okay, let's try that again. Let's try with a lower value this time, 1 star. Some overflow. Okay, so this still means that the approval transaction didn't go through. On option, then okay, I think one thing we can try to do is we can try to extract the sum option, and we can try to just unpack it, right? So let's disable this. New. Okay, so sums. Actually, this is mistaken. So this here's sum and wrap. So in here will be it will be still some option. Right. So here is like the setup. Let's try it again. See if that works. Try to do some amount, enter the amount, premium. Let's fail this again. Track data is loading. Getting with no payment. And getting with payment. Okay, so with payment. Okay, okay. Seems like there's a bit of a issue over here. So I think we are 1 hour in, I think it's a good time to take a 5-minute break. And also, I'll be happy to take any questions if you guys have any. Well, I figure this out. I think I'll see you guys in 5 more minutes. So there'll be 1:10. There'll be 9:10 in you guys time. Yeah. So feel free if you guys have any questions or you want to uh, curious curious about anything in Scaffold, Starknet, how can contribute, feel free to ask away. Yeah. How easy to get faucet from test nets? Yeah, it used to be very easy. They'll actually give you 25 stars and such, but now I think they only give you 1 star at a time. I think that shouldn't be very. That should be enough because Starknet transactions are actually very cheap, and so you just only have to like spend 0.0000 something Stark per transaction. So they're actually very cheap for Sepolia. You can check out the foundation's official faucet here. So all you have to do is just make sure you have a Argent or Bravo's address, like your wallet address. And yeah, this is the faucet that you can use to get some testnet for Sepolia. They can just send you here. They'll say I think they'll only send you one at a time. Yeah, but I think this it should be enough for your development needs. Yeah, and you can try to claim more. Like if you some time pass. Yeah, this is official by the Standard Foundation, by the way. So don't worry, your address is safe. Okay.
In case you have any question, you can just type it on the chat. And if you want to ask, you can just raise your hand and I will unmute you.
Yes, Cindy. Yeah, I see someone raising hands. Yeah, please. Any questions, thoughts?
Hi, Rick. I have several questions. The first one is I'm very interested if you have the time, you can show us on how you are able to create the deployment script so that because normally before using Scaffold Stack, we used to like type out the sncast commands manually, right? So that you can declare and then get the class hash, etc., and then deploy your smart contract. So I'm very interested how you'll be able to like automate that process. And so is it something that someone can replicate? Because I was trying to like do something like this exactly, whereby you have like an embedded editor in your in let's say in like a site or something, and then you write your code, and then you just click on the deploy smart contract. But then on the back end, figuring out exactly how to automate all these processes was something which was super trying to figure it out. So you maybe, if you have the time, could you maybe take us through that? And also, what is the command for testing out your smart contract? The way we normally do like a send forge test. So here, what commands do you use? Yeah, those are the two questions that I have.
Yeah, so actually that's a very good question. So like the first one for the Perl script, I'm going to demo it slightly later. But basically, we don't really have like a front end interface for that because we mostly expect that people would mostly develop their contract anyways in the with the mostly with still with the within this boundary, right? So within the smart contract section. But we do simplify the deployment process for you. So in here, if you see this, there's like the script here in the package JSON. This like a deploy, right? So with this deploy script, what it will does is it will trigger this particular file. So this is where you will be modifying your script, right? So all you have to do is just copy this function that we want to deploy. Then whatever you name your contract in your Foundry, for example, my contract. Then you just write your constructor here, and that's it. Just write your deployment in order. If you need the address of this guy, you can get the return value of this and put it here as the address. You can easily do that, and the declaration and everything is handled behind the scenes, right? So it's still command line, but it's very much simplified. Like if you see my demo just now, all I have to do is just yarn deploy, and you have something deployed already there. Yeah, so I'll go through this a bit later. I will also give you a demo on this in action. And the other thing about the testing, if you see here, there's another command called yarn test. Right, so if you just on yarn test, this is how you would test out your smart contracts, right? So this will be this. If you have a proper test suite inside, then it will run the test on smart contract. There's a pre-made test here, so we see if it works. But that's basically like the two things. Hopefully that answers your question. And yeah, so yeah, the whole mission is just to make things easier. Yeah, so instead of doing a lot of SNCast declare and stuff, you just yarn deploy. You can even verify a contract. Yeah, so you run yarn verify and it will verify contracts. Yep. So here you see it's running test, and this is how you would test the contracts. Yep. So that's how you do it. Just run yarn test and that's it. Yeah. So you write your test suites and you can do it. Right. So let's continue. Okay. So in here, where was I? Yeah, here. So in here we have actually done some some stuff here. So let's see if it works. So option, this would be, let's try the input amount again on this. So let's assert that that's available already. Let's see, our server is still running good. It's still running good. Let's try it again. So now I tested, I have verified that the approve logic and the greeting actually still works. So it's still okay, I guess. So probably just some issues in the implementation here. Let's try again. So if you want to give it 2 Stark, let's use here. So let's use 2 Stark multiplied by 10 to the power of 18. Put it here. Amount. Can still fail. Um, okay, so this is still not working. I apologize for that. So basically, you can use this to write multiple contracts at the same time. To do multiple stuff at the same time. For example, it's approval, then this your contract. Then you can easily do those in the same call, right? So yeah, similar to scaffold if, yes, it is like a scaffold if. Maybe we have like some issues on currently on this hook. We will take a look at it a bit later. Get it fixed up. But yeah, just so you guys know that this is possible. And if you use Argent or Bravos or any of like those extensions for it will work the same. Yep. So it will work the same. And yeah, so that's the one section that I want to show you. So the next section is mostly let's try to do some stuff with the smart contracts and see how the debug UI can really assist us in doing that, and let's see how that works. Right. So So in here, I'll just use my my answer key again. Go to step, and okay. So let's. Yep. So let's use the stuff here. So I think this is not detecting your contract name. So if they don't detect your contract name, just deploy again. Right. So I'll just start from here to save time because like. And yeah, so we're going to try to implement some multi-token support in this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to implement ETH token inside. So we are going to try to download the ETH configurations, the ETH ABI. So like I said, we have a tool that can bring external contracts that might not necessarily be done by you, but just want its ABI, its interface to be used. And yeah, and so we will be doing that, and also we will update all the front end and stuff to make use of this. Yes, Stanley, you're asking a question. Or you can just type in the chat, no worries. I'll keep reading it as I go. Yeah. By the way, the code here I already shared, right? So in the chat, yeah.
Hello.
Hey,
I wanted to
what's
ask,
up?
are we using Node like in Ethereum, in Scaffold it?
Oh, the node. You mean like the hard hat node, the anvil?
In Lisk, in Base, we are using something like, instead of Node 23, the current, we are using like Node 18. So are we using like that node
Oh,
in...
yes, we are using Node. I think most Javas, if they are based on JavaScript, they will do so. We are currently using our Scaffold Stark is compatible with Node 22 and up. So yeah, so if you have 22 and up, then you're good. So currently I have 23 running here, works fine. But 22 and above should work fine. Yeah, yeah, you can.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, I would recommend everyone here if you want to do something with Node.js in general, you get this nvm running in your device because you can easily change the version of your node. So for example, if I want to downgrade to node 22, so I can just use node nvm use 22. It will downgrade. I want to put it back up again. Then I can easily switch between versions of the Node.js if I need to. So like it's very convenient tool to have. So yeah, I recommend everyone to, if you are willing, you can try to use nvm. Right. So back to the lesson. So let's start by updating our contract. Right. So I have deployed the contracts again. Let's restart the front end. Get clean. Okay, so it's running. Let's just confirm if our server is running good. If our front is running good, it's running good. Then let's get our hands dirty. So what we're trying to do is incorporate like another token that we can use to write here, right? So what we're going to do is let's go to the contracts, go to your contract here. Let's update some stuff here. So when you set greeting, right? So this is currently fixed to Stark, right? So let's try to fix it to Ethereum. So what we will do, so first of all, we need the address of the Ethereum contract because we need some information of and the ABI eventually, right? So what we can do in our front end, you can see here there's a configure contracts button, right? So here you can fetch external contracts and such. So you can download the contracts. So the address of the ETH contract is this one. And no, this is wrong. This is the address over here. So the contract name is ETH. And we can kind of quote unquote download this contract and put it in our project. So if you download, it'll give us this file. So let's just copy this over. So this is basically the ABI of the ETH contract that we have obtained. from the external contracts. All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy it over, put it over here. Then voila, we have an if contract that is running on our local blocks on our Scaffold Stark project. So you can see here we have successfully bring over the if contract into our project. So this is like sometimes this contract can get very complex and you don't want to implement your own version or your own interface, your own fork. You can easily do this, right, to extract this. Right. Right. So in here, so in here, let's try to update our contracts. So I think due to time constraints, I'm just going to show the contract development in here, but hopefully you guys can get the gist of like what this does actually. So let's try to see that we can update the set greeting so that we can have the option to accept if as well. Right. So in here, in your contract, all you can do is you can update this. Right. So in here, you can say amount. Actually, what you can do is we can have them select the token by an option. They can also have the amount by the option, right? So the amount here, just set it like this. Then just call option amount so we don't confuse ourselves. Then we do option token, which will be an option of a contract address. So basically, we'll be selecting the contract address of start or if. Okay, so you can see here, there's a red here. It's red because we haven't imported yet. So we have to import it by doing use Starknet contract address. Right, so here is like your contract address. So now we have our interface. So after we have this interface, then we have to implement the logic. Right, so first let's bring in the if contract address here. Pop const. You can just retrieve it here easily. So this is one advantage. You can also just look at this interface and all just in with a single URL. So file if contract. So there'll be a file 252 equal to this. And so we get our address here. One sec. Okay, I put there. Okay, so we have a variable in place. So let's make it so that if the user selects the token as if, then it will be if. And it will start, then it's start, right? So let's try to do it. So here in this set greeting function, as you can see, it's all red because the implementation is currently the old one. So let's update that. So if you remember, this will be amount, option amount, and this will be option token. So this will be option contract address. So that will be option contract address. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to try to match the option amount and the option token. Right, so let's try to do that. So let's set a variable here, and actually we can do a simultaneous match. Right, so in here, we can do match option amount, option token. So all we'll do is that this will, it's like a switch case statement. in your typical programming language, right? So it will match these two syntax. That if it's option sum, and it's like option sum token. So don't forget the braces. Then okay, so then we will write the logic here. So if the amount is bigger than 0, since that we don't want 0 amount, right? So we just make a, we will make like a, just a safe check here. We'll transfer the token like from the from the account of the user to this contracts account, right? So what we'll do is just do yourself. You have to fetch the dispatcher because yeah. So let's get the dispatcher. Contract address that would be token. So then with this, what we can do is we can do dispatcher transfer from the caller's address to this address. Yeah. And amount over here. Right. So there we are doing the dispatcher. Then let's return some error. So there'll be a panic. In 0. Okay, so here is like the upper logic. So let's see why it's not working. Okay, so here we need a semicolon. And here we will need this. Then also let's update the state. So let's don't forget to set the print to true. And also self see that's all you have to update. So the token will be true. And we also have to handle the non option. Right. So if the option is none, a tuple, if the option is both none, then we just write self premium false. Right. So we will emit events also, although we are not really going to use it in this case. So in here, let's change the event as well. So greeting change key. Since that we have like the token. So okay, so now that we have those values set up, so this amount here and token, right? So amount. So this would be, oh, actually this is a wrong one. So it should option some amount. So the option some token. And for the non, it's the same. Just then we event that no values were set. is false. The comma right there. Really change to the parentheses, semicolon, and yeah, it's some error here. Okay, so we're missing some arms here. So it's basically just some cases. Let's just leave these, leave those empty. Since if you're not gonna send them, you don't have to set a token. So we can. Oh, you know what? If there's empty, we don't have to do this. We just do a default case, which is an underscore. Then we just do nothing. Right. So this is basically the contract. Let's redeploy to see if it changes. So use the yarn deploy. And also, I think I promised someone that we want to write a deploy script. Yeah, so it's basically just this deploy contract. Since we don't have any other constructor that we have to write down, so you just do this. Right? So, for example, you want to deploy other contract, you just put your contract name here, your constructor there, and that's it. And by yarn deploy, it will deploy a contract. Yeah. So after we update it, if we refresh this front end, we should have updated interface. So as you can see, this is what I call debug UI. So as you deploy the contract, then they will keep updating, right? So let's say hello with if, right? Then the amount we can just write one if, which will not work because you need to approve it. Let's just approve that first here. So just approve. Spender would be your contract. Copy this address. Let's just put one if over here. Approve. Then if we select this, the contract is of if, just take it from here. So now recapping. So what we have, setting a new greeting. We want to send one if. Then this is the contract address of the if. If we send it, it should work, right? And also if we check, right? So if we let's check the balance of this address. Balance. Oh, actually it's here. Balance of 999. So everyone comes with one if. So yes, you can see that the if has been paid to this your contract. Then if you check if your contract has some balance, then we can see that we got some balance in there, right? So we managed to also do some contract modifications, update the stuff, and yeah. So I think for the main lesson, I think I will end it there for now. So I do welcome any questions because I want to spend the rest of the time. I just want to share like some of the stuff that we have like other than the main Scaffold Stark that you can use, and also I want to like to demo our cool new feature as well. Like because like I think you guys are also building projects currently, so I think if I could build that, then it will be, if you can make use of that feature, it will be very helpful for you guys. Yeah. And also, if you guys are really like not sure about like what the hooks do, or you need to complete list of features that we have here, all the components and the stuff, please do come to this page. It has like a complete information on what you can do. Okay, any questions up to this point? Or like, do you have any clarifications, anything that is not clear from what I explained just now? Yeah, please feel free to say so. Yeah, no worries. We're all here to learn. So yeah. Yes, Cindy. Hello? Yeah.
Yes, yes. So just one more question. In terms of like, let's say you want to upgrade your smart contract. You see the way we normally call this syscall. What's this syscall? Yeah, the replace something syscall. The replace, was it replace plus syscall, right? When you want to like upgrade your smart contract. So when you're like using the scaffold stack, is there like a specific way? Let's say when you have updated your logic etc and yeah, you want to just upgrade it.
Yes, are you talking like in terms of upgrading, as in like updating the contract in Scaffold Stark, or like upgrading as in like when you deploy, after you deploy in mainnet, then you want to upgrade with a proxy, something
Yes,
like that?
yes. Like how in EVM we have the proxy contracts.
Yeah.
So how does it work here?
Yeah. So currently we don't really support contract upgrades yet in Scaffold Stark currently, but I think that's like a one feature that we are looking into implement as well in the roadmap. Yeah. So yeah. So I think currently we have no specific way. I think you have to go to the traditional way to do it. But if I think if you want to try to implement it in Scaffold Stark, then feel free to open a PR and contribute. I think it will be okay as well. Yeah, it would be awesome. Yeah, but it's something that we have in the roadmap, but we just haven't gotten to implementing yet. Yeah, upgradable contracts. Yeah. Okay, I don't see any other questions. Yeah, so just would like to go back to my presentation. Yeah, so if you guys want to really try to use Scaffold Stack and everything, feel free to go to this developer chat in Telegram. So this all of our team is there, so there'll be people to help you out. And yeah, if you have any questions, or if you have any bugs, if you have any feature suggestions, anything really, you just want to chat, feel free to come here. You will usually post events, any campaigns, any new features, any new release, we'll be updating it here. So yeah, if you guys really have any questions or anything like that, like further questions after this call, even just go ask in this group chat in Telegram. They'll be very appreciated. Yeah, and also if you also we'll be happy to help you guys. Yeah. And also, we have some links here. There's quite a lot of links. So the class code here for today is available in repository. You can access it. You can also check out our main documentation. Check out Starknet.js and React. Only does if you want to try your hand in like their only does waves. We sometimes participate in that. We'll announce if we participate, but if we don't participate, then we will not announce it. And also, stay tuned to our social media as we pump up more new updates and such. And yeah, and I think I'll send this also to the chat so you guys can have a look. So here, yeah, I have all the links here that you can access. And yeah, and also one thing that I want to share is like we have something. So for example, if you like feel like you want to practice your front end even more with Scaffold Stark, we have something called Speedrun Stark, right? So Speedrun Starknet is basically a way for you to try to get your hands on, improve your skills, like while like you're trying to build real world projects. So the difference with Stark Links is that Stark Links is mostly like command line, like you're trying to solve like with an online judge programming problems with Cairo. But in Speedrun Stark, we do have challenges that you can try. You can follow the instructions, see the challenge, implement real use cases. For example, staking, token minting, dice, implementing a game, building a DEX, multi-sig wallets. So you can really just try your hands on these challenges if you have some time and you would like to improve your skill further by building real use cases of projects. Yeah, and that's one thing. Yeah. So, but not least, I think I will demo our new feature. Yeah. So if you go to our website, scaffoldstark.com, then you'll see here that there's like a section called Create with Extensions, right? So the only available one is the indexer currently. The ERC20 and 721 is still a work in progress. We will get that delivered out soon. Yeah. So basically what you can do is you can use this command to start a project with a built-in local indexer. So if you guys are building a project where you might need to index some data from a blockchain, or you need to index, get some query some data very, very fast or in a filtered way, then this will be the answer for you, right? So I just copy this. If I whip up a terminal, if you just paste it. And so the index is called AUCO. It's like something our team has been cooking up as well. So AUCO is the name of the indexer. So let's try to set it up. Okay, so let's come with a name. So extension example, install dependency. So when you run this command, you can bootstrap a Scaffold Stark project very easily. With extensions, you have some features pre-integrated. So it's like you don't have to go to the repo and git clone. So you can just use this command as well to start your projects. Because sometimes git cloning, they will leave you with the git, right? But if you use this project, this tool will also strip away all the git from you, so you can easily just put it on your own GitHub and start coding away, putting in the put your own code in it and start doing it. So if we go to the folder and if we go to our editor, right, you'll see that we have the similar setup, but the difference is that now we have an extra package, which is like the indexer. The indexer package, right? So here, here you have an indexer package. Then we have the same setup as usual. Yeah, so basically what the indexer is, if you guys are not aware of what that is basically, it's a software. Usually it runs on the back end. So like what it does is that it will take in data from a blockchain and stream it to your own database, right? So it will, for example, you have a heaps of like DeFi data, right? Swaps, right? But if you keep it on chain and try to query it, it takes forever and it's hard to query usually, right? From your smart contract. So that's why you usually have a database that will indexer that will pipe this data in the database. So if you guys ever heard of Ponder, you have heard of the graph, subgraphs in EVM or Apibara and Starknet, then yeah, those are indexers basically. So I think my editor is being a bit funny right now. So let me just close it, open it again. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so here's cursor. So let's try to set it up. So what this indexer does, it will just index the greeting change event that we saw just now when I was demoing to you guys. So if you run yarn chain, okay, so let's install first. I think it seems like there's some problem with the installation. Let's just make sure that everything works again. So yarn chain to run the devnet address already in use. Okay, so we have the previous yarn chain running, so we don't really have to run it anymore, so that's fine. So let's run yarn deploy, just deploy a fresh instance for ourselves. So deploy a contract. So if you see here, apart from this two, we have an extra package here that comes pre-integrated, right? So this is an indexer that is like running locally in you. So like you don't have to use API key, like for example, Apibara or Subgraph, you need to subscribe to an API key to do so, but in here you don't have to. It's really entirely on your control. So this is an Express server that will take in some endpoints, like Web2 endpoints, like get endpoints. The endpoints are here, but you can modify it as you need, right? So in here, you will also, like, this is where the indexer lives, right? So in the sample code, it will be creating a table, SQL table for you. So, and it will also initialize the indexer and it will listen to the event, right? So let me just make it bigger so you can see it clearly. So in here, this is like the event listener. This is where the table is set up. So we are creating a database with these tables. And yeah, so here is where the indexer is being set up. So basically on event, it will take in your contract name. This is also type safe, right? So it will do the same as Scaffold Stark. So the event name is greeting change. So every time you change the greeting, indexer will pick it up, put it in our own SQLite database. And yeah, we insert it via SQL. So this indexer supports SQLite, MySQL, and PostgreSQL. So it's very, the options is quite a lot. Yeah, so I will demo it to you guys. So we need to run the server. There's an extra command that came in there. So it's called yarn AUCO dev. So they will just run the express server, it will run the indexer, it looks something like this. Then let's start our front end. Okay, so port is being in use. So let's use this fine. Let's close this to avoid confusion. Okay, wait a second. Okay, so in here, there's a side block in the front end here. So here we will see that there's an extra page here. So in here we will see that there's like an extra page that explains to you what the indexer does and how it works. So in this case, you will index the greetings. The greeting is events, right? So let's try to change the greeting. Let's disconnect. Let's connect with our burner wallet. So let's try to do it like just now. Hello from indexer. So no amount complete. Let's go here. It will just get recorded in here in the greetings. Now you might think that this is just a regular like event listening, but for example, and you see here a database has been created. Database is, oh, this is the wrong code base. Let's check. So here there's a database has been created, like a SQLite database. And then when you refresh, the state is preserved. So even if you turn off the server, let me just show you. If you turn off the server, in the front end, for example, you lost all the data, and you turn it on again, you somehow turn off the front end, the data will be still there because it's in a database, right? It's separate from your backend or your front end. Yeah, so that's a quick demo of like this our new feature, extensions and indexers. So I think if you guys are looking to using ways to query on-chain data, and especially if you have to like select some data, for example, I want this to be older than this, or I need the amount to be bigger than this, smaller than this. I think that's quite hard to do with pure Cairo and pure Scaffold, but with this, it's gonna make your life a hell lot of easier. Yeah. So I think that's all I have for you guys today. For the time, do you have any questions? So we can, yeah, you have any questions or you have any concerns, anything? Yeah. What RPC endpoint is Scaffold Stark using? Yeah. So currently we have like using public endpoints. Yeah, so you can actually set it up by yourself. In our env, you can see that we are using some custom RPCs. Yeah, so this really comes from you have a API key for Scaffold, but you can use or bring your own API keys. Just update it here, support it here, mainnet here. Just update all three at the same time, then you're good. Yeah, so you just easily set it up via the environment variables. Yeah. Yeah, I recommend if you're building anything serious, then I recommend you getting an API key because using public RPC, they usually place very, very strict rate limits on there. So like sometimes you want to do something that is very blazingly fast and it doesn't work. And also note that the latest version is RPC 0.8, which is quite different from the previous versions because they also support WebSocket. Right. So, for example, if you go to the, if you notice the indexer uses this WebSocket, URL. So currently with Starknet.js, you can also do WebSocket interactions with the blockchain. Right? So you can listen through events via these WebSocket channels, which is way faster than using HTTP. Yeah, polling. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any question? It seems like people don't have any more questions.
Yeah. I mean, if anything's not clear or
Okay.
any, yeah, I think I'll just display the QR here. So like if anyone wants to join the group, just feel free to scan the QR, the Scaffold QR as well. If you have any other question that you might not have currently, yeah. Yes, I just put it up there, yeah, just in case. Yeah, sorry, I think I was interrupting you. Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay. So please scan the QR code and join the group for any further question that you may have. Wow, thank you so much, Richard. That was a very insightful, practical session. I am sure every one of us picked something there that we can apply in our own projects that we are currently building on. Let's everyone drop a thank you on the chat for Richard taking the time to share all that knowledge with us.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for having me. Yeah, hope you guys
You're
picked
welcome.
something awesome today. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So before we wrap up, if you haven't signed up for your team and project, please do in the link chat. And the recording session will be shared in our Telegram group and also in your emails if you kind of registered. That will be so amazing. So thank you everyone for joining tonight's call. Your energy and participation is what make this community grow. So thank you for coming for tonight. And thank you so much, Richard, for all the efforts that you have shown us today. So guys, keep on building, keep on experimenting. Let us keep on showing up. Let's call it a night. Thank you everyone for joining. Yeah, and give a shout out to Hadao, Hadao Kenya.
For sure, yeah.
Good night, everyone. Yeah, and make sure you scan the code. Good night, everyone.
All right, thanks, guys. Happy building. Stay cooking.
Thank you.